Hey y'all, what's up and welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mel and this is going to be the kickoff for my 2018 Project Pan, which I am doing this as a rolling Project Pan. I did actually recently just start a seasonal Project Pan, so I will have the introduction to that video series linked up above and down below. In my seasonal Project Pans, I'm going to work on panning through some of my deluxe sample size items and get sort of some of those smaller items moved out of my collection. But for this Project Pan, which is going to be a year-long Project Pan, I want to focus on using up some of the bigger items in my collection and either hitting pan or using up those items entirely. So, like I said, I am going to do this rolling style, so when I pan an item or hit my goal on that item, I will roll it out of this project and then roll something else in its place. So I will constantly be working on a number of items and trying to really focus on using a lot of products up this year and getting them out of my collection. So with that introduction out of the way, let's get started with the items that I have chosen for this year's Project Pan. First up, I have the Ambient lighting palette from Hourglass. This does have 3 powders in it. It has dim light, incandescent light, and radiant light are the 3 powders. This I have been working on quite a bit the last several months. Sorry if that's blinding y'all. But the powders themselves were really domed over to start off with when they were brand new, and you can see they're getting pretty flat, particularly the one in the middle, which is the incandescent light. I do use these as a finishing powder. I will swirl my brush through and then use it to finish off my face. That's how I use this. I know there's you know, sort of some controversy on YouTube, or there's different ways that people use these powders, but that's how I personally have been using them. I would like to finish this off entirely this year. This is a product I've kind of changed my mind on a little bit. I liked it a lot when I first started using it, but what I have noticed is there are a lot of glitter particles in this. They're fine glitter, it's not chunky glitter, but it's glitter nonetheless, and I'm not really a fan of that all over my face. But if you are familiar with Hourglass products, you know that they are not cheap, so I did spend a pretty penny on this, and I would like to get my money's worth out of it, so that is why I have thrown it in this pan. Next up, I have, it's part of my Smashbox Masterclass Lighting Theory palette that came out in 2016. It's one of the ones they have that it's, you know, sort of this little binder or book looking thing, and you open it up and there's different products on each side. They come in things that look like this. One side for this particular palette had all powder products, and then the other side was all cream products, and this is the cream side of that overall palette. And I would like to really try to focus on hitting pan or using up as much of this as possible. I got this right after Christmas last year. It was on sale. I picked it up then, mostly because I wanted to play with these color correctors up here, and those are definitely the products I've gotten the most use out of so far, particularly this green shade and this peach shade here. Those are the 2 I use the most often. I get quite a bit of redness on my cheeks and nose, so I like using the green color corrector for that, and then I use the peach with a little bit of this darker orange, sometimes mixed in, to color correct for my circles under my eyes. So those have the most use. I definitely want to use those 2 up entirely, and, you know, probably use this purple up entirely as well. This is sort of like a brightener color correcting. Is that I don't use the orange a whole lot. That is a little too dark for me, but particularly if I have really dark circles under my eyes, I will mix a little bit of it in with the peach. So if I could just hit pan on that, I would be pretty happy with that. And then these 3 down here are sort of strobing highlight creams, and I don't really see getting a whole lot of use out of these this year. But this up here, which the regular highlight shade, and then these contour and bronzer shades, I would like to experiment and play with those a little bit this year. And, you know, if I could hit pan or use them up entirely, that would be great. If not, I would just like to get some use out of this. I would like to retire this from my collection one way or another at the end of 2018, because by then it will be, you know, I mean, it'll be 2 years old at that point. At this point, all of the cream products are still fine. They are performing fine. They don't smell. They're not separating or doing anything weird. So as long as that continues to be the case, I will keep using this until I have either used it up or feel that it's, you know, something that is starting to go bad and needs to get retired. So yeah, the next product I have is another one that I sort of bought around the same time. This was the Stila Starlight Starbright highlighting palette. This is a cream to powder highlight palette. There are 3 shades. Let's flip this over. The lighter one here is Transcendence, the middle one is the iconic shade Kitten, and then we have this bronze shade over here. You can see I haven't really touched the bronze shade at all. It is a little too dark for me. Kitten I've gotten quite a bit of use out of already. You know, again, they all started with this dome over shape. Kitten is pretty well flat, even a little bit inverted. Transcendence, I've used a little bit, not a whole lot. My goal for this really is to try to pan Kitten entirely. I typically will reach for a powder highlight, not a cream highlight, which is why I do want to put this in this pan and kind of force myself to use it a little bit more. This did actually have a 24-month expiration on it. That's what the little, you know, open makeup container on the back says, is 24 months. So we are right over a year on this. I bought this on Black Friday 2016, so we just passed the year mark on this. So I do have a year left with this. I would like to use Kitten up entirely if I can in 2018, and then I will feel okay about retiring this from my collection at that point. The bronze, like I said, is too dark for me. Transcendence I'll probably play with a little bit here and there throughout the year, but I don't, you know, if I don't hit pan on it, that's fine. But yeah, I feel like if I can use up Kitten, I'll have gotten my money's worth out of this one. So I do have one eyeshadow palette that I am including in this pan. I am, for 2018, working on panning my Loreal Pro 2 palette, so I'll have that linked up above or down below. But I do want to hit pan on at least 1, maybe 2 shades in my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I love this palette. It is one of my absolute favorites. And I just want to make sure that I am giving it the love that it deserves throughout 2018. This is another that is actually fairly new to my collection. You can see from the packaging it's not one of the original ones. This is actually a birthday present in 2017, back in February, from my BFF Amber. So I, you know, have really only had it for a year, so that's why I'm not focusing on trying to pan it entirely. This is what mine looks like at this moment. So you can see there's not, it's all been used. I've used every single shade in here. I love most every shade in here. There are a couple that I'm not all that fond of, but I really love these reds, the Cherry Cordial, Black Forest Truffle, Amaretto Trio. I love that. I love so many of these brown colors. This is just such a great palette, and I just want to make sure it's not getting overlooked in my collection this year, and that it's getting, you know, sort of the love that it deserves. And that is why I would really like to hit some pan in this year. I think White Chocolate will probably be the shade that I would hit pan in first, just because it does already have the largest dip going. I do tend to move around in this pretty well. I really do like almost every shade in here and use them. So that is why White Chocolate just gets used that much more consistently. And yeah, so, and then maybe one of these transition shades, either Milk Chocolate, which is this brown here, or Salted Caramel, which is this one here. I tend to use those in my crease the most often. So yeah, that's kind of my goal for that. Two shadows, hitting pan in, not like, again, like I said, not trying to pan this in its entirety, just trying to make sure that it gets a lot of love this year. Next up, I do have a bronzer, and it is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Mine is in the shade Light Bronzer. And this is what it looks like so far. So I've gotten some pretty good use out of it already. I think this is a really good shade for me during the winter when I'm not very tan, but it is way too light, you know, once we start getting into late spring or early summer. So my goal for this is just to try to hit pan in it before we get into summertime, and then I would like to rotate this out and switch it out for one of my more summer bronzers, so something a little bit darker that matches my skin tone better when I have a tan going on. So 2 more powder products. The first one up is this powder highlight from Becca. It is in the shade Opal. This is one of 3 Becca highlighters that I have. This is probably the one that is my most worn shade. I also have Champagne Pop and then the Prismatic Amethyst one that came out this year, and this is definitely the one that I reach for most often. It's probably my most reached for highlighter. The Becca formula and the L'Oreal Big Gelato Swirls are my 2 favorite highlight formulas. So this one I just want to hit pan on, and I think it's probably going to take me all year to do so. There's not a whole lot of use on this, just because I do have a lot of highlighters that kind of got caught up in the great highlighter hype of 2017 and bought a lot of highlighters this year. So, you know, and I rotate through everything in my collection pretty evenly. So, you know, there's been use, but not a ton of use on this. So I do think that this is something that's going to take me most of the year to hit pan on. But if I can hit pan on this year, I would be very, very happy with that. Last of the powder products that I have is this blush from Lancome. It was a blush and highlighter duo that came out right before the holidays, or as one of their holiday kits last year. I don't like the highlighter. It's this like sticky cream glittery highlighter that has been in with the powder blush, so it's gotten pretty gross, so we're gonna ignore that. But the blush side, I do want to hit pan in this year. It's a really light blush, so I've been using it quite a bit over the last, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 months or so. So there is a pretty good dip going in it, but it may be very hard to see on camera. Again, though, it is a blush, so it does take me a very long time to hit pan on these, but yeah, we're gonna use it consistently throughout the year and see if we can at least hit pan. If I could use it up and get it out of my collection entirely, I would be ecstatic. But you know, if I can just hit pan on it, that would be fine too. Next up, I have 2 lip products that actually came out both in the Sephora Give Me Some Nude Lip Kit that was out back in winter 2017. So it's not the one that's out now. And it's this full-size lipstick from Urban Decay and this full-size lip liner from the Estee Edit, which Estee Edit is no longer with us, but it was, you know, part of the Estee Lauder family. This is their, or was their, the Barest Contour Lip Liner in the shade In the Buff, and then the Urban Decay lipstick, which is the Comfort Matte lipstick in 1993. So here is both of those. I'm really bad at doing swatches. I will get better with this. But so, can you even see that? So that is those swatched there. The lip liner is the top one, and then that is the lipstick right there. So they go really, really well together. I think that they are both really sort of pretty. They're just both really pretty nude. This is very like brown shade, very 90s, which I love. I am a total 90s girl. So this makes me very happy to use. You can see how much I have left on it there. It's been used, but there is still a ton of product there. The lip liner I unfortunately can't roll up. It's one of the ones that doesn't come back down. I learned that the hard way. So yeah, it's there. It's probably gonna take me quite a while. I've been using it sort of on and off since I got this kit, but I don't always wear lip liners, so that's part of why I wanted to put this in this project, was to, you know, force myself to use it more regularly so that I can use it up before it dries out and goes bad. The product that I have in this pan is a foundation. It is the True Match Lumi foundation from L'Oreal. Mine is in the shade C3 Creamy Natural, and this is my sort of medium range foundation. I'm not somebody that stockpiles foundations typically. I do have 3 right now, one of which is a CC cream, one of which is a much more, you know, full coverage foundation, and then this is sort of my in-between foundation. This is good. I don't know that it's a perfect shade match for me. It is what I'm wearing today. So I don't know, I think it looks okay, but yeah, I would just kind of like to use this up and try out some different foundations. Again, it's not that this one is bad, it's just that since I don't stockpile foundations, I don't try out like every new foundation that comes out. So there are a lot that have come out that I would like to try. It's right about here right now. So, it's kind of about 3/4 full. And I will mark this as soon as I'm done with this video so that we can sort of track the progress throughout the year. But I think I should be able to use this up. I don't think it'll take me a full year to use this up. So I think maybe, 6 or 7 months, hopefully we could move this out. That would be great. These are the items that I have in my 2018 project pan. Like I've said at the intro to this video, I am going to do this as a rolling project pan style. So when I either reach my goal or use up entirely a product out of this, I will replace it with something else. That way I can hopefully rotate through and move a lot of products out of my collection this year, or just get a lot of good use out of products that I like. So yeah, that is it. As always, I love watching project pan videos. So if you are a project panner, I would love to, love to hear about it, love to know what your channel is so I can check it out. Or if you pan in your non-YouTube life, let me know in the comments down below as well what you're panning for 2018 so that we can help each other stay motivated with our panning and celebrate our panning victories together. It's always more fun to pan with a friend. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope if you haven't already done so, you will hit that subscribe button down below. Come back and check out the rest of this panning project and the other videos that I have on my channel. And until next time, have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.